Hi, welcome to how to clean your High Point C9 model 9mm handgun. First thing we want to do is make sure that there's no clip in the handgun and that the chamber has no bullet in there. Okay, now that we have done that, with the slide all the way to the back, there's a notch on both sides and there's a little retaining pin in here. And what we want to do is remove the pin. And obviously, as you can tell, the slide doesn't actually um, line up with the hole, so it's kind of going to be difficult to do. So what I like to do is actually have someone help you do this if you can. If not, you're going to be either using other tools to kind of hold this back so that the pin lines up. Okay, and using the proper tools or whatever you can find. I'm using a small tool screwdriver to fit in the hole and small hammer to tap that out. I've already taken mine out to speed up the process, but basically use something underneath here like a rag so that you don't damage the pin and it'll come out much easier. So now that I've gotten mine out and you've gotten yours out, we can go ahead and take the handgun apart. So go ahead and let the slide go forward again. Okay, now holding the handgun like this and your hand on the slide, as you're pulling back, try to be lifting up at the same time, and it comes apart. It slips through there. Okay, now when it slips through, you can continue and move it back forward, and this will completely come out. Okay. Now take the pin out and the spring and set that down. Let's take this completely apart. We're going to take the firing pin out with the spring and the retaining pin. Basically pull the retaining pin out. Don't worry about it. Both sides look the same, so it'll fit in either way. Fire just fine. Go ahead and let the thing slide out into your hand. Okay, that's basically everything that comes out of there. And let's go ahead and set it down. Now, take note that when it was in the handgun, it's supposed to sit like that, basically like this. And when you go to slide it back in, these are going to have to actually slide over to one side. So I'll show you how to get that back to where you want it to look proper. I really don't know if it matters, but I prefer to have it one on each side. Okay. There's other pieces on here that you can take apart. There's screws on each side of your hand grip. Obviously, you understand that these screw into plastic, and if you over tighten these things, they will ruin the thread, and improperly screwing it in will also cross thread it, and then that will also ruin the thread too, so be careful. Also, when you take these off, a lot of things are loose in there, and they will fall out if you tip it over. So I'm going to show you right now. We'll just do one side. Just use a screwdriver, take it out, and with your finger, if you have your small enough fingers, mine are kind of big, but there's still a hole in here, and if you push your finger up, this pops out. As you can see, pieces are already kind of falling out, which is alright because I know where they go. Okay, this pin went right there. Now, this is basically a lockout for the handgun, so when there's no magazine in the handgun, you can't fire the handgun. This pin here, It's basically a retention spring that holds the release mechanism for the magazine. Make sure that's in the proper, and I'll show you. There is a hook on one side, and that hook goes inside the hole, and then this fits right back down in there like that. So hook in that little hole, slides back in there. Okay. We're going to clean all this. You want to make sure this is all clean, free of carbon and debris. And as you can see, there's two guide pins here. This slides back in first, and then make sure the spring's it's kind of durable. I don't think it'll pop out, but obviously you don't want to slide it and bend it to where it's not going to do its job. It basically holds this pin in place. So put it in. Once it's in place, you push down, it locks back into place. All your pieces and parts are back together. And now take your screw. Again, we don't want to cross thread this. And we're not going to use a bunch of torque on this either. Just going to snug it down so that it's not jiggling. That jiggling you're hearing is this metal rod in here. This thing here basically locks the handgun. As you can see right here, I push it up. Triggers this little piece here, and then when it's down, that means there's a magazine in there. When it's down, it locks it out and you can't fire it or do whatever. Okay. So on to what we're going to need to clean this with. First thing, basic stuff you can find in your home, Q-tips. Very good tool for cleaning your handgun. Get plenty of them. They're cheap. Who cares? Alright. I also like to purchase a solvent. This will help clean out the carbon. And honestly, don't use this stuff on your plastic. It's flammable, so don't be smoking around it, please. It will eat the plastic, so let's not use it on there. If you do get some on there, don't panic. You just wipe it off. It's not going to destroy it right off the bat. It takes a little while, but it will do some damage. I also have lubricating oil. Use lubricate. You're going to have to lubricate about every part that you put back in here. You want to put a generous amount on, but honestly, let's not overdo it. We don't want to give dust and debris place to cling to. Okay, other tools. Walmart sells these. They're a little cleaning brush, and this one's specifically designed for the 9mm. I actually have a kit, and I will show you it. I purchased this kit here. As you can see, it has multiple different size brushes on it, all these different pieces and rods, even the handle. I have many different handguns and rifles, so alright, let's get back to what we're doing here. Okay, other things I use are these are great for swabbing the barrel with. First thing you want to use is your brush or your wire brush. Dip it in the solvent, and from the back end, rod it. You would want to use your actual rods. You don't have to use them all. You can use one, and rod this down. Make sure the brush comes completely out the other side before you pull it back through to continue to do this process. If you don't do it that way, it tends to get locked up in the center. It's hard to pull back through. So all the way out, all the way back through in. Do this about 10-20 times with the solvent in there to break up the carbon, and then swap out with